What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with Gab and Maui. Welcome back, guys. Kumusta kayo?
Yeah! Sorry, walang Mason Amos ngayon, guys. Kami tatlo lang.
Wala. We don't have a special guest today. Pasensya na, guys. Pero once again, thank you to Mason Amos. Salamat sa paalala sa akin, Gab. But thank you to Mason Amos for being our first guest to the podcast. If you haven't seen that episode, please like and watch that episode. Comment down below kung may mga questions din kayo para kay Mason. Baka pwede natin ihabol yan. But today, we are not going to talk about Ateneo or Mason Amos or any specific star. We're going to talk about, or we're gonna give give credit, diba, to the UAAP Juniors champions. First time in 31 years, the Adamson Baby Falcons. So, Adamson beating NU earlier this morning in Game 3 of the UAAP Juniors Finals.
Hindi naman morning, no afternoon naman.
Ay, afternoon. So, tinambakan ng Adamson. Nagpakitang gilas yung Adamson. We'll talk about that for today's episode. Pero, before we talk about that, a few updates lang in the UAAP sphere. Alam kong medyo dry season tayo ngayon, pero meron tayong onting updates. First of all, we weren't able to talk about this last podcast because we had Mason Amos on the podcast, but Kean Baclaan confirmed going to the DLSU Green Archers. We already talked about it in a previous episode, but I just wanted to hear your final reactions now that it's confirmed na Lasal na siya. Maui, let's start with you.
Yeah, still shocked that Kean Baclaan decided to leave NU. I really thought that it was a perfect situation for him. But maybe there was some internal issue. We don't know. Maybe he just wants a change of scenery. Still has 2 years eligibility coming for LaSalle. But he'll play season 88. So he'll have to sit out season 87. But it's still surprising to me. I'm not sure if Kevin Kiambao will play season 88, but that's been the theme the whole off-season. I mean, early off-season pa lang, Kevin Kiambao has been teasing us about this. And the first step, the first domino, I would say, has happened. Yung friend niya, si Kean Baclaan, has decided to commit for LaSalle. I think this bolsters LaSalle's chances after season 87 if Kiambao leaves. We have seen a team led by Kean Baclaan, and at worst, they'd probably be a Final Four team. Happy for LaSalle to be able to get Kean Baclaan. I guess one of my reactions is how do they play Kean Baclaan and Jacob Cortez at the same time?
Cortez.
Diba? Come season 88. I think this was a recurring, this is similar to how Ateneo had a problem with Amos and Balungay this season. I don't think that they are playable at the same time in long stretches. Both are undersized guards, and as we know, yung shooting guard spot and even yung small forward slot in the UAAP starting to get players who are very tall and long. So I don't know if they will be able to do this. Although they were able to do it with Mark Nonoy and Evan Nelly, so maybe Coach Topex can get another bunny off his bag and pull this off come season 88. But this is a welcome sight for LaSallians. They should be in contention for the next 2 years. Obviously, they would like this as their team has been very, I would say, very inconsistent, diba? The past decade or so. So getting a name like Baclaan and Cortez for season 88 is something to look forward to. Gab?
You probably said most of it already, Maui. But yeah, some of my key takeaways. One, since Baclaan is committed to playing in season 88, the biggest thing for me is does that mean that KQ is staying for 2 more seasons in LaSalle? We've already had our thoughts on this, guys. I mean, I don't think it's the right decision for KQ to stay in college for a longer period since, it's his basketball prime years. He should be in the pros already. He's pro ready. He's that good. The Strong Group Athletics tournament in Dubai proved that. He was pretty good already. He was being scouted by other countries to play as a naturalized import. So, I mean, yun. I don't know why he will opt to stay for 2 more seasons and play out his remaining years. I think he should be going to the pros already. My other take on this is Lasal back to their 2010 days, to their 2010 era. Are they back? They're hoarding talent again. They're just getting stars left and right again. They just won once, and now they're going back to their old ways. That's not how they built this championship team. Well, you can say yes, but they really built it by having a lot of talent from high school. Kevin Kiambao was from high school. Mike Phillips recruited fresh out of high school. I think he was. And then Raven Cortez, fresh out of high school. Sina Escandor, DJ David, although he was hampered by injuries early on. But now they're getting stars again, you left and right. So I'm not sure. Is maybe LaSalle is just too hyped on Kevin Kiambao and they want to cash in as much as possible while Kevin Kiambao is still eligible. So that's why they're getting 2-star point guards. And same concern, Maui, 2 small guards playing together. I don't know how they're gonna work it out. 2 small guards who need the ball, who need to make plays with the ball. So go figure. In the NBA, we have the Clippers and James Harden and Russell Westbrook as teammates, and we all know that someone has to go to the bench. So I don't think this will necessarily be a smooth sailing operation for LaSalle with Cortez and Baclaan. But it does help them to win the championship in season 88. Now, for season 87, yun yung big question, diba? May big hole pa rin sila at point guard. I don't know if DJ David is ready to be the lead point guard for this team. So let's see. There's still more Alaw, Prince Alaw, in Team B. Ethan Alian is still on Team B. Maybe he can have a role, but I think it's all for naught. I mean, you develop these guys and they're gonna be bench players once Baclaan and Cortez come, diba? So, I don't know, LaSalle, come on. Ang nag-champion na kayo from building a culture. Stop going back to the old ways.
Yeah, I think for me, the one point that I had is anytime you get talent like Jacob Cortez or Kean Baclaan knocking at your doorstep, you get them, diba? But question is they're both for season 88. Question is yung point guard slot for season 87. So you did mention that, Gab, and Maui, you mentioned hindi natin alam yung backstory behind it, why Baclaan left NU, why he decided to go to LaSalle. So curious to find out what baka nga may issue, but it's good news for LaSalle. Still good news. Like anytime you get talent like that, that's good news for the team. But hindi tayo sure how it will work on the court, as to Gab's point. Another minor news, Chris Hubilla, former San Beda Red Cup, I think, who previously committed to UP, is now going to Letran. I know, ikaw, Maui, and Gab, you always talk about this, like, when you hoard a lot of talent, some people might end up leaving. So, is this the first of many? Or ito lang ba yung may kita natin na umalis? Actually, hindi. Jared Bahay already.
Jared Bahay.
Yeah,
Si Jared
second
Bahay
commit of UP for
second
this
na pala to.
off-season.
Okay. Gab, let's start with you. Anong thoughts mo on Hubilla leaving or decommitting? Sorry.
Anyone who follows the UAAP could see this from a mile away, I think. And I think it was pretty smart on Chris Hubilla's part to look at the lineup of UP and see, man, I'm not gonna play in this team. That's simply it, man. I mean, why will you decommit from UP? I'm sure well, it's technically a better university than Letran. It's a better program. It's a winning program. Letran was at the bottom of the standings, so if you want to win, you go to UP, diba? So I don't think there's any other reason behind it aside from there's a logjam in every position in UP, and Chris Hubilla saw the writing on the wall and saw Jared Bahay and what he did na, pwede pala mag-decommit sa UP. Decommit na rin ako. Diba? Hindi naman ako makakalaro yung next season. Wala lineup lang ako, pero bench player. Diba? So, but I think there could be some positives out of this from UP. One, you lose another guard/wing player from your potential season 87 lineup. I think this opens up minutes for your other potential wings. I do love Chico Briones. I mean, he's a guard who's 6'3", 6'4". I think that's pretty valuable in today's UAAP, in today's style of basketball. You get a big wing like that to play on the perimeter. It's going to be valuable. He was playing very limited minutes, had a few games where he shined, but they were blowouts. So I think UP can focus more on developing the talent that they have. There's still L.A. Andres who didn't suit up from last season. With the amount of talent that UP has, I think that this will be more of a positive news kasi ma-develop talaga yung other players, the other talented players that they have at the end of the bench. So, smart for Chris Hubilla and a positive for UP, I think. Again, so much talent there. There's so much talent. I don't think the loss of Chris Hubilla will be such a big dent to their title hopes in season 87. Maui.
Anything to add, Maui?
Yeah, actually, Gab, just to add, I think even si Coronel is a name to watch for UP come season.
Yeah.
Oo nga, nakalimutan na natin siya.
Nakalimutan ko si Coronel. Sobrang dami.
I think there's been off-season buzz. There was buzz even during the season when Coronel started to join yung practices ng UP that this guy is somebody to watch out for. I think maybe Chris Hubilla saw this when he was training with UP. And actually, ang main reaction ko lang is, are we seeing a new trend in the UAAP? Will there be more players who decommit in the future? Diba kasi, historically speaking, when a player commits to a school, with regards to the UAAP, I could honestly say that probably 90% since I started watching or you're looking at the UAAP, everyone just followed the original plan. Now, the new trend is players like Bahay, players like Hubilla have decided to decommit during the off-season before their rookie seasons with their respective school chosen. So, will this be a new trend in the UAAP? But, as Gab mentioned, I don't think naman this will be a big blow to UP. I still think that they have the deepest pool, the deepest lineup come season 87, similar to season 86. It will all boil down again to health, I think, for UP. If their players are healthy the whole season, then definitely they will contend. Right now, their main issue is replacing Malik Diouf. I think yun yung biggest issue nila. Will they be able to find a big man as effective as Malik Diouf? I don't think people see yung, because of UP's strong lineup, because of UP's deep rotation, deep roster, talented pool, I think that people might be underrating yung effect ni Malik Diouf to leaving to UP's chances for season 87. I think this was the same with Ateneo. I think that people have generally underrated the absence of Ange Kwame for season 86. Despite Obasa filling in nicely nung leading the league in blocks and scoring a ton of points, I think that Diouf will have a similar effect. It all probably depends on how effective their new FSA will be. We were talking about this off-air kanina. I think this is their fourth FSA debuting for their Pinoy Liga team. I think they have a ton of choices to make. Who will be UP's FSA? That's the big question come opening night. I think they have a ton of FSA to choose from. And that will really boil down yung biggest hole nila left for next season. I think that they have enough talent to replace all of the other players graduating except Malik Diouf, unless if they find a suitable FSA. Ayun lang, Sam.
Okay. That's it for our quick news recap. Let's go back to the main focus of for this podcast. Let's talk about that UAAP Game 3 Juniors Championship, Adamson versus NU. Now, for those that don't know, actually, pagdating sa high school basketball, UAAP basketball, ang medyo expert natin dito si Gab. Because Gab really watches a lot of the games. He's a sicko. Sa NCAA, maybe si Maui. Si Maui yung mas nakakanood ng NCAA basketball. Seniors basketball, watched Jacob Cortez and all the guys sa San Beda during the finals. So, I don't want to go with Gab first because I know Gab has a lot to say for this game. I want to start with Maui and give Maui a chance to talk about what he saw dun sa Adamson versus NU game. Just quick reactions, Maui, bago
Grabe ka naman sa
kunin ni Gab
expert,
lahat.
Sam.
Bago
Grabe ka
kunin
naman
ni
sa
Gab lahat.
expert.
Bago ka muna magsalita, Gab. Bago kang mag-comment or sumingit.
Yeah, I think we talked about this in our private group. The Adamson team is just too deep. They're talented. I think yung pool of players, they have a lot of players that they can rely on. I love the team. I love that they have big man. They have 6'7", 6'8" players. They are developing. They have players who are seniors ready. I think that Garcia, for one, should definitely get into the seniors. If I were Adamson, that's my number one priority, to get Garcia to come back for the senior team. I think he would fit perfectly as the de facto replacement of Jerome Lastimosa. It's even better that it's a homegrown talent, diba? It's somebody that went from their juniors program. But I guess yung initial reaction ko is congratulations to Coach Mike Fermin. This was a coach who was previously a coach of Adamson in the early 2010s. I think he only became the coach because Kenneth Dorembes was fired mid-season. But this is really a good thing for him. He has resurrected yung Adamson's program, Adamson Juniors program. As Sammy mentioned nung start ng episode, they haven't won a title in 6 years. I think I read something again
31
Maui.
31 years, sorry. 31 years. I think I read something actually from the UAAP master in terms of facts and stats kay Sir Pong Docanes. Again, I think before this happened, yung Adamson Juniors team were 6-peat champions. And then they had a 32-year drought. So imagine how long they have waited for this chance, how long they have waited to finally raise that crown. From being runner-ups in season 85 to being champions in season 86. I really think yung development ng high school program ng Adamson has been top-notch. Before NU became a powerhouse, some of the players of NU actually came from the Adamson Juniors program. I think si Fortsky Padrigal was one of them. So this is a welcome sight. Anytime the juniors division team is growing and performing well, I think it really translates well sa seniors team. This has been a trend since very early on, since I've been watching nung start. And I guess yung main problem nila right now is that they have to really look out for their players. Who will they be able to secure? Si Gab will have a list of players later, of players that are graduating. So which of these players will they be able to secure? But for me, definitely ang main target nila, even before recruiting yung outside, is keeping Garcia. This guy has been part of the team for the past 2 seasons. Has been very relevant. I think he played a fantastic job kanina during the game. And with regards to NU naman, it's a different problem. Okowe is definitely a name to watch in Philippine basketball. I think this guy, there's a reason why people are saying that we should consider naturalizing Okowe. And that's because he's young, talented, and despite being raw, very dominant in the juniors division. And despite this, after watching Okowe for the past 3 or 4 games because of the playoffs. I could honestly say that he's not just strong, he's not just talented, but he really cares. He wants to win. He goes for the 50-50 balls. And he's not
He
somebody...
cried earlier. He cried when they
cried,
lost.
diba? He cried after the game. Very well-deserving MVP award for this season. I really think that they won yung game 2 on the back of yung him winning yung MVP award. This is a player to watch. The question we should all be asking is, where will Okowe end up? Will he get to the... I mean, it's one of the possibilities is transferring to another UAAP school. My hope is for Okowe to find somewhere in greener pastures, probably Division 1 in the USA, similar to what happened to God's Love for Ateneo. But yeah, honestly, yung juniors game kanina, it was really good. It was very similar to how the seniors level play. Yung quality ng game, I was quite surprised for the
Which is shocking, di ba, Maui?
Yes,
Ang shocking na sobrang polished ng game ng juniors.
Yes, that's why I wanted to di ba? I wanted to shout out because that's something I really realized watching the fight. Kasi we watched also yung Final Four, di ba? But watching these two teams, watching NU and Adamson really showed me that wow, yung juniors level rin pala ng UAAP is leveling up in terms of yung quality of play. I think yung players ng Adamson, especially, I have to give a shout out to them. A lot of them are ready for the seniors level.
Seniors ready, yeah. Actually, maganda yung point na yan, no, Maui, because I was watching the game earlier, tapos nagre-react ako, parang, wow, gumaganon ako. Tapos nandun yung wife ko, tapos sabi niya, yan na ba yung game? Sabi ko, pero grabe, parang mukhang seniors na tong mga naglalaro. Parang hindi naman ganito yung mga players nung high school kami. Like, hindi sila ganito ka mature or like developed in terms of like the skills also and the way they played. But so I thought ako lang yon, but I think the way you mentioned it, Maui, seems like napansin niyo din yun. So I was also very surprised at how the high school players play now then. Sorry, Gab, are you going to say something?
No, that was exactly my observation. So, unanimous tayo. It was also shocking to me to see such level of organized basketball being played at the high school level.
Dati,
sobrang shocking nun.
Run and gun.
Diba? Yeah. Tama. When we were in high school, even when we were in college, when we watch juniors games, usually kaya yung gusto sa amin dahil chaotic siya, diba? Takbuhan, yung maraming turnovers, but you get a lot of layups, yung highlight plays. This is far from what we saw when we were much younger, diba? Age reveal na ata yun para sa atin.
Age reveal. Just wanted to jump on another point that you mentioned, Maui. Great that you mentioned yung motor or Okowe caring about the game, no? And I think, Gab, when you mentioned that he cried, alam mo, pag basketball player, pag varsity yan, lalo na mga varsity and very competitive players, and natalo sila, umiiyak talaga yan eh. I remember, I just want to share, this is like the first time I saw someone cry after losing. Si Ivan Enriquez, natalo kami sa intrams. So if you don't know, Ivan Enriquez, the big man from Ateneo, classmate ko siya, grade 6 kami. Natalo kami sa intrams or whatever ng basketball. Tapos naiyak siya. Tapos parang ako, Ba't naiyak si Ivan? Intrams lang naman eh. But no, these guys are hella competitive. Like, they hate losing. So, that's something that I learned from, like, Ivan. Idol ko yun, by the way. Shout out kay Ivan.
Big
Good
guy
class
naman.
friend of Maui.
Shout out
good
to
friend of
Ivan the
Maui.
Terrible. Love you, bro.
Yeah, that guy's crazy competitive. So, you know, Akoe, when he cries after a loss, he cares. Tama ka dyan, Maui. He cares. So, good point. Okay, Gab. Now is your turn. You've seen, actually you saw, napanood mo din sila nung first round, tama? Nung naglaban yung, I think it was the first round or the second round. How different is it now, yung finals versus like the first round and second round when they faced each other? Meron bang difference? Meron bang like players that stepped up ngayong finals na hindi mo napansin nung first round or nung second round?
None. Because for NU, it's mostly just Collins Akowe. They run their offense purely just through him, diba? And throughout the season, even now in the finals, it's pretty much the same thing. They run a lot of their offense and even funnel their defense to Collins Akowe just because he's such an intimidating presence. For Adamson, and I'll get to this. You never know who's gonna step up. Sabi nga ni Maui, they're a very, very talented team. Very talented, very experienced team. As we said in our previous juniors video when we recapped the Final Four, most of these guys were in the finals last season. So they know what it means to lose in the finals. They know what it takes now to win in the finals. So very experienced. So maybe in the first round is more a lot of Justin Garcia scoring. In this game, you didn't see that at all. Even in game 2, not really. But he's more of a floor general. He can score if he wants, but he's more focused on distributing the ball. So as to my take on the game and the series as a whole, I think grabe ka naman sa expert sa amin. Hindi naman ako expert. Sinusulit ko lang yung subscription ko sa Pilipinas
Live. Oh. Sinusulit mo sayang no?
Hindi pa rin ako nag-unsubscribe sa Pilipinas Live. Well, volleyball season is upcoming, so I don't think I'll be unsubscribing in a few months' time pa. So I'm gonna be watching some UAAP action.
Yeah.
So for the games, going into game 3, I was actually looking for what would happen in the fourth quarter because game 1 and game 2 was won in the fourth quarter by both teams. In the first game, it was Vince Reyes scoring clutch baskets for Adamson to take the way. I think he had 8 straight points in the final 5 minutes, had 2 3-pointers, and then a layup to secure the victory for Adamson. Still a close game. In the second game, Adamson couldn't hit anything in the final 2 minutes. I think they had more than 10 chances to tie or take the lead in the final minute or so of the game and couldn't hit anything. So I was interested to see what would happen in the fourth quarter of this game. And I was telling you guys, when Adamson led big, I think they were up by 12 or 14 points. At sabi ni Maui, uy, tambak na. Sabi ko, watch out. Kasi nung game 2, tambak din ang NU. Diba? Tambak ang NU. Pero yung hinabol nila no third quarter, very different yung the way Adamson got their leads in games 2 and games 3. In game 2, uminit lang talaga si Erlina, and a lot of that just opened the floor for penetration. I think he hit 6 3-pointers in the game in total. And then for this game 3, Adamson pulled away in the first half mainly because sinasabi ko sa inyo kayo guys, I really love tong si JC Bonsalida. Grabe, his motor and his energy just gave Adamson so many second chance points in the first half. I think they were up by 12 at the end of the first half. And then again, man, the experience, NU made their run in the quarter, but Adamson did not call a timeout, and they still built their lead back up to 11 without any timeout. Their lead was cut down to 4, but just like that, it was up to 11 again, just distributing the ball and doing it all over again. And tuloy-tuloy na yung after that. I think the floodgates opened right as they made their run late in the third quarter, and tuloy-tuloy na in the fourth quarter, and NU just couldn't do anything anymore. Masyadong maraming song Adamson team. Garcia didn't even score in the win digits for this game. So that tells you how deep they are. Their star point guard didn't have to do much in terms of scoring, and they still won by a comfortable margin. I love how Adamson plays. So much talent around their roster, but I think we'll get to that in our next segment. No? Sammy, Maui.
Okay. Sige. Let's talk more about the Adamson seniors muna. Let's focus on the Adamson seniors. Kasi I think for NU, we only have one, if I'm not mistaken, si Tagutongan, who was okay today, had better games, pero I want to focus on the 4 Adamson seniors. So, based dito sa chinek namin online, yung 4 na seniors ng Adamson will be obviously si Mythical 5, Tebol Garcia, si Vince Reyes, we've mentioned it in the previous episodes, is also a senior. Favorite ni Gab, si JC Bonzalida, is also a graduating player. And then the last one is si Jean Carillo. Okay, so Jean Carillo. Dun sa 4 na yun, sa 4 na players, what are your expectations of them in the seniors level? Do you think they'll be able to sort of like transition as is, transition seamlessly? I think Maui, you sort of answered this earlier. Sabi mo si Garcia, you feel like would be a great fit for the Adamson seniors team as a replacement for Lastimosa, diba? So like their next floor general. But what about like the others? Sa tingin mo, as is, do you think they'll be able to transition to the seniors? Or meron ba ditong mga players, which I think we talked about sa chat natin, that needs to develop or change their game in order to succeed in the seniors level? Any one of those like 4, you can talk about each one or just highlight 1 or 2 players. Let's start with Maui.
Yeah, actually yung player na napansin si Gab, favorite niya si Buesalida. Ang favorite ko, ang actually nagustuhan ko na laro the past season is si Vince Reyes. I think this guy had an 11 for 11 game ba? He reminds me actually of
8 for 8.
8 for 8.
8 for 8.
He actually reminds me of correct me if I'm wrong, si Vince Magbuhos ba yung shooter that's graduating along with Jerome Lastimosa?
Yes.
Yeah, si Vince
Yes.
Who was watching the game, by the way.
Yeah, I was watching the game coincidentally. I think it reminds me of Vince Magbuhos. This Vince Reyes is around 6'3", 6'4". He's starting to transition to a small forward. I think yung outside shot na is working a lot on it. Maybe he can transition. I think that Adamson has to, like any other UAAP team, I think there has to be an extra premium into developing yung guys who came from your high school team. I think that they should prioritize these guys, Buesalida, Reyes, and Garcia specifically. Si Carillo, I haven't seen enough. All I remember is that crazy 3-point play from a while ago. But I think the three guys I mentioned have potential to be potential players for their seniors division. Si Gab will talk about later why he thinks that Buesalida should be considered as part of yung plans nila for the seniors division. Si Treble Garcia, I think, doesn't have to be talked about. I think he has to be part of Adamson's plans for season 87. I think they have to prioritize this guy. If I was Nash Racela, and you know that when you play for Nash or Olsen, you always need that steady and that reliable point guard. I think Garcia should fit in that role. Hopefully they develop him. I think he measures pretty well, close to 6 foot for a point guard. That would be very, very good for the seniors level. So yeah, definitely those are my thoughts. Gab.
Yeah, ako, well, obviously, number one, Garcia is ready to play right away. I think he can be straight in the rotation for Adamson. He can even start for, I mean, who's a guard in Adamson that's better than Garcia right now? I don't think I would put Yero over Garcia. I don't think I would put Sabandal over Garcia, or even si Monty Bon. I think si Monty is more of a shooting guard, just more of a scorer. He's not much of a distributor. But yeah, I would prioritize Garcia over any of the current guards that Adamson has. I think he's that good. He's a very stable point guard. He can distribute the ball, he can play make. And this guy can also score. As I said in our previous June episode, last season he was playing beside Peter Rosilio, their former starting point guard. He was their shooting guard. So he knows how to shoot and knows how to get a bucket. No, so there may be bumps on the road in the early part of the of season 87 for Justin Garcia. It's very hard to play as a point guard in the seniors division. You know, players are bigger, teams are more physical. You're going up against a bigger front line. So there may be some adjustment period for him, but in the long run, if they can keep him, I think he'll be a great addition to the seniors program or any other program who will eventually get him. Sana sa Adamson siya magstay. Sana. For the other guys, I'll rank them. Siguro I'm higher on Bonzalida more than the other two. Because in this team, he didn't have to do much aside from be the hustle guy. He was their Sakuragi. Just the guy who grabs rebounds. And if you watch him, he will go after every rebound. He had a stretch in the fourth quarter. He made a jump shot, got a block on the other end, stole the ball from Akowe once Akowe got the defensive rebound and gave another opportunity to Adamson to score. So, and he doesn't showcase a lot of his skills. I do think he has an outshot. I've seen him shoot threes before, so I do think he has that as part of his game. I do think he can be a 3-and-D kind of guy, diba? Because he's very pesky. I imagine he could be a taller version of a Sean Kiteves. You know what Sean Kiteves does for Ateneo? Just put him on the best perimeter guy and bother him throughout the whole game. Bonsaida can do that. And he's an agitator too. He was hit him and Okoye were going at it for 3 games. He was annoying for every time he was on the floor, he was just being a pest. He was slapping the balls. He was being so physical, just doing anything to agitate to see Collins Okoye. So I'm higher on him. I think his body ready for the seniors division. He's tall, he's lanky, he's pretty muscular as well. He has to work on his handle a little bit, but all other parts of his game, I think it can be worked on. Si Vince Reyes kasi hype as sa inyo guys on Vince Reyes kasi he has to make that transition from being a big man to being a wing player. I think he has to make that transition. I mean, he's not that big to become a big man in the college level. He can shoot, pero ang problema, di ba Sam, ikaw ata nagpansin nung previous episode natin, yung 3-point shot niya parang set shot na mabagal. So he has to be set up for that 3-point shot. So he can't take an off the dribble 3. He can't move off screens and then take a 3-point shot that quickly. So I do think he has to figure that out if he wants to play on the perimeter. His handle is not that tight, but if I were Coach Nash, I'd still consider him for the seniors division, man. Again, you can't go wrong with a talent such as that. You can work on his handles, you can work on his perimeter defense, and I think he'll be a pretty good player. Si Carillo, not much of a shooter, but you can see him being a slasher type of guy. Again, it's not his role on this Adams Juniors. Their shooter is si Medina. So his role is just to slash to the basket and get easy buckets on fast break opportunity. That's my rankings. Of course, si Garcia, number 1. Si Bonsalida, I'm higher on him. I think he can make a perfect transition into the seniors division. He's sanay na siya and not getting shots eh. So alam mo yun, as a guy who, if you have other people on your team, like Tibon and Garcia eventually, si Sabandal, si Hero, guys who need shots, he's a guy who doesn't need shots. So I think he would fit in perfectly with any team, not just Adamson. Of course, if any team wants to recruit him, I think he'll be a perfect. Sammy.
Yeah, that's true, Gab. That's a good point. I love the point on Buensalida kasi I think sino ba nagsabi nito? I think it was Alex Caruso who said this na parang a lot of players they sort of like want to be the stars and they don't embrace yung role player role. But actually, like if you embrace the role player role, you'll find like a good fit for you in like any NBA team. And si Alex Caruso is like the epitome of like a player that you can put in any NBA team and he'll fit that team perfectly. I think yung point mo on like Bonsalida, yung okay kay Bonsalida kasi is dito pa lang sa high school team niya, he has already embraced a certain role, di ba? Parang he's embraced being that role player. And so
Low
it's in terms
maintenance.
of like transitioning to the seniors, he could easily fit in the seniors division because he will be a role player. To your point, both of your points, see Garcia definitely a star potential. He's the star of high school and he could be like the best point guard really of Adamson. I'm still high on Vince Reyes. Nakakatawa Maui because I also was thinking about that when I saw Vince magbuhos kanina sa TV. Sabi ko, para nang Vince magbuhos yung laro nitong Reyes na to. So it's funny that you mentioned that. I like the Bonsalida comparison kay Teves Gab. Just to complete the comparison game, si Tebol Garcia, I would say is like a lefty version of Matt Nieto. Steady floor general,
Oh.
best defender, hard-nosed defender, not the most athletic, not the tallest, not the fast, not the best shooter, pero really a very steady floor general na very balanced and not afraid of like the big moment. So parang yun yung naalala ko, but lefty version of Matt Nieto. Si Bonsalida, just thinking of like another comparison, I like the Sean Kiteves one. Naisip ko Mark Lopez. Sort of a medyo big athletic guy that transitioned as a wing sa seniors division. But I think, Gab, to your point, what Lopez struggled with sa seniors was his three-point shooting. You mentioned si Bonzalida medyo may tira. Nakikita ko in the previous games, hindi ko siya nakitang nag-tres. I don't remember that. But I do remember he does have a good mid-range shot din. So, may stroke naman tong si Bonsalida. Medyo inalat si Bonsalida tsaka si Reyes today. They were both like 0 of 4, 0 of 5 from 3. So, not a good day to like look at their 3-point shooting. No?
Another
Just that,
comparison I just thought of now.
sige, go.
Si
I
Gian
like this.
Mamuyak,
I like
diba?
this.
Parang si Gian
No.
Mamuyak,
No, so
diba?
Gian Mamuyak for me, I was gonna say is my comparison for Carillo. So Mamuyak wasn't a three-point shooter. Mamuyak wasn't a three-point shooter nung high school siya, di ba? And body type ni Carillo, very long, lanky, but like lean. Nakita mo yung body type ni Carillo, medyo defined na siya. Mukhang senior na talaga siya eh. So,
Yep.
and height-wise, size 6'1", medyo mahaba. I think Gian Mamuyak would be a good peg for Carillo. Another guy that needs to maybe develop his three-point shooting in order to transition well sa seniors division. So, good point, Gab, diba? Right now, medyo slasher lang siya. Hindi siya three-point shooter. So, medyo masipag siya sa defense, I think, because he's very long, diba? So, I think if he can turn into a Gian Mamuyak type of player, I think that would be good for Carillo. But yeah, pwede din Bonsalida, another long guy, Gian Mamuyak. Sige, we talked about the graduating seniors of Adamson and the stars of Adamson. This time naman, I wanna know, sino sa inyo naman yung mga underrated players from the game kanina? You could pick from NU, you could pick from Adamson, pwede din. But, probably Adamson kasi Adamson yung nanalo. I know, Maui, you have your favorite, like, underrated player from the game earlier. So, I want you to talk about that guy first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think si Allen Perez. I was actually thinking as si Vince Reyes, I was asking him, bakit parang ang tangkad ni Vince Reyes? But he was Allen Perez. I think he's 6'7". He was matching up pretty well with Akowe during the middle of the third quarter, entering the fourth quarter. He kind of reminds me of Raven Cortez because of his short stab in the middle of the paint.
Yeah.
I think this guy could be special if he
That's a good
develops his
point.
game
That's a
Good
more.
comparison.
Yeah, I was thinking about Raven Cortez. This is how Lasal deployed Raven Cortez last season. Just using yung mini floaters in the middle of the paint. I think if Allen Perez continues to develop, he could be a player for the seniors division. I think if I'm not mistaken, he's a rookie or only on his second year. So correct me if I'm wrong. But hopefully this guy continues to develop. He's 6'7". If he can develop a mid-range to a 3-point shot and continue to work on yung scoring prowess niya in the paint, then maybe this guy could be part of the future of Philippine basketball because of his height. I like how this guy moves, and hopefully he continues to develop. Gab.
Well, you know who I'm gonna say. I don't think he's underrated by any means. Mark Esperanza is a joy to watch. I think, Savi, you're a fan of this guy
Yeah.
too.
MVP, di ba?
Apparently,
Last
he's
bit
only
nung Final
Finals
Four
MVP.
pa.
Yeah,
I love this guy.
Finals MVP.
Finals
So he's not
MVP.
really
Yeah.
he's not really an underrated player,
Good
but
pick.
I do enjoy watching him. And I think he's the reason why Garcia does not have to play huge minutes for this team, because Mark Esperanza is there as a backup, a very capable backup, a very young backup. Apparently, he's a rookie and Finals MVP already. So I love how he plays. He has a sick handle. His handle is so good. He knows how to get off a floater in the paint. He knows how to manufacture a shot uh, around the basket. He has awesome hair. And he has an awesome nickname, as we just found out a while ago, Sabi. Pomelo Ball.
Pomelo
That is
Ball.
such a great nickname. Pomelo Ball. He has the hair for it. The play style is there. I'm guessing he's maybe from Davao. That's why he's called Pomelo. I don't know, but that's hella funny. But yeah, I love watching this guy play. He's obviously the future of this team without Justin Garcia next season. He's gonna be taking over that offense, and he's gonna be the main guy. He's probably gonna be an MVP candidate for next season. He's that good already. Grade 10. Wow, grabe guys. Grade 10, ganun nakapolish yung game ni Mark Esperanza. This is crazy how good the young guys are doing now in the high school division.
It's becoming a
And
norm.
I just want to, diba? It's becoming a norm.
Daming
Mas exciting pa po the high school basketball years sa PBA eh. Whoops.
Grabe ka naman.
So,
grabe.
But yeah.
Where is the lie though? Oh, go.
Okay,
Sammy.
so but yeah, good picks from you both. I think those were the top two answers that I also had. Just to add, si Allen Perez, Maui, great comparison. Great comparison for him. Ang galing din niya pumwesto kanina kasi, no? I think when NU was making the run, he helped build back the lead. Tapos talagang, again, very organized plays, and then just the drop off na lang sa kanya, all of a sudden libre siya, tapos short stab lang dun sa near the basket. He was so good earlier today, Allen Perez. So we talked about Esperanza. I think the future of Adamson is really ito si Esperanza and si Perez, I would say. Mark Esperanza, I just wrote down some of the highlight plays na parang ako, paano nangyayari yun? Like, I think, was it the first quarter or second quarter, yung nag-drive siya, tapos mid-air, parang umikot siya, tapos drop pass niya yung bola, Gab. Tapos, I forget
kay
sino
Perez.
up. Kay Perez, di ba? Yeah. One of the first few plays na parang, teka, ano nangyari doon? Like, I don't know kung sinadya niya yun, but like, the first reaction that I had was like, wait, chamba yun eh, chamba. And then, later sa second quarter, wave off niya, nag-ISO siya, wave off, tapos parang crossover, Hesi, tapos crossover ulit, tapos drive siya, open na siya, tapos biglang nandun si Okoe, flinoter lang niya over Okoe, tapos parang, wait, plinano ba niya yung buong move na yon? And then, I think third quarter, meron na naman siya like crossover behind the back, step back, mid-range jump shot. This guy is so super confident and has no fear. I think may isa pa siyang play na he just drove past like the defender and then went straight to Okoe and then na-block siya. But my point is, this guy's not afraid to be blocked. Like, he will drive and get to the basket and will not stop. Kahit na may 6'10" guy waiting there to block your shot. And I love that about him. And to your point, Gab, grade grade 10 lang to, rookie lang to, and he's that confident. Imagine mo once he becomes a senior, di ba? And nickname pa lang, Pomelo Ball. I can't wait. I can't wait to see more of Esperanza. Siguro, just to comment, para naman meron tayong mapag-usapan na NU.
I was gonna
Another
say
guy na,
something about
okay,
uh,
but,
yung about NU. I mean,
sige.
puro Adamson pinag-uusapan natin. But
Ah,
I do want to give a shout out again to another big man from NU. NU has a couple of bigs
Jed
also.
Solomon?
Jed Solomon!
Jed Solomon, I agree. He was my underrated pick also. Go ahead, Gab.
I think this guy is legit good also. He's being overshadowed. Of course, he's playing behind the MVP in Collins Akowe. But
Is he
I
taller
also
than
saw...
Akowe, by the way? Parang narinig ko sa comment kanina,
Is he?
the tallest guy in the team, Jed Solomon. So I was like, huh? Mas malaki pa ba ito kay Akowe? I'm like, oh. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I was saying he has a good touch around the basket as well. He's being overshadowed lang by Akowe because most of the plays go to Akowe, but he's pretty decent too. And Maui made the point na si Alan Perez looks like Raven Cortez. I think it's very similar also si Solomon. His sister's on the volleyball team, so he knows how to swat shots away. He's a good rim protector for the juniors division. And he's pretty young. I think he still has a year in the juniors division. Correct me if I'm wrong, if any NU insiders or fans are there. I think he still has a year in the juniors division. So hopefully he still grows, no? And develops his game. Grows in terms of height, no? I think if he can grow taller, oh man, this guy is crazy talented. He has skills, man. So I think he's pretty underrated too. Another guy that we don't normally talk about, si Elijah UC. Last season, he was one of the shooters and scorers of this team. The problem was Collins Akowe came into the team this year, so a lot of the offense really went to Collins Akowe and went away from a guy like Elijah UC. He can handle the ball, he can drive, he can run a pick and roll. We saw that last season when he was teamed up with Reinhard Humamoy. So I do think there is a future for this guy, si Elijah UC. He doesn't get enough shine because talagang si Akowe na talaga yung offense ng NU at for most of the game. And sometimes si Tagutongan and si Mac Alfanta. But Elijah UC, I think, can make a name for himself. I think he has some legit skills. So, Sam or Mau?
Yeah, just to add si Solomon, credit also to him for giving Vince Reyes a hard time earlier. You can see he was matching up with Vince Reyes a lot of times, lalo na when Reyes was like close to the basket and he couldn't get a shot near the basket kasi ang laki nitong si Solomon. So it was very hard for him then. So gave Vince Reyes a hard time during his last game in the UAAP. So good D for Solomon. And I think nag 10 rebounds din ata si Solomon if I'm not mistaken. So grabbed a lot of rebounds also. Maui, anything to add before we move on to the next point?
No, I'm okay. I think we've spoken a lot about the players, but definitely NU is a contender in juniors basketball. With the players that are returning for next season, they're probably the team to beat. Very, very big pa rin for Adamson losing a ton of players, but NU is almost intact for next season. That's gonna be a scary side.
Okay, sige. One last question from me and then maybe Gab, Maui, if you have any final points, we can talk about it. Pero Collins Akowe was the MVP of the season. FSA obviously first FSA MVP sa juniors division if I'm not mistaken. So, Maui, you talked about kanina earlier you talked about trends, 'di ba? Yung decommitting is decommitting like a new trend now. So my question for you guys is, do you think having FSAs in the juniors division will be a new trend? Seeing Collins Akowe like play for the NU juniors team, become an MVP, people are hyped about him, talking about naturalizing him. Ngayon, we're worried, parang saan to pupunta or where will he go after high school? Do you think this will be a new trend for other teams to follow also? Any of you can start. Maui, start.
Yes, I think it will be a new trend. I think this has been happening behind the scenes for some schools. Some schools have been training players, FSAs, even before they hit college. Ange Kwame is
Pero
one of
in
the
different schools, eh, no?
yeah, in different schools. Ange Kwame is one of the most famous examples. I would not be surprised if schools started to put them sa high school team. If I'm not mistaken, UP I think has somebody coming for next season. But it for me it's a positive, similar to the positive that FSAs give sa seniors division. I think players having that additional big man, additional challenge to face against taller opponents will be a big plus for Philippine basketball. I hope they don't ban it in the UAAP ever. I hope they embrace it if it comes to the juniors division. I think the seniors division yung women's division has also been getting more FSAs now. I think it is very beneficial to all players, giving some of our players who should have been big men now transition into wing players. I think that's been the main trend that has happened because of those FSAs. We wouldn't have Carl Tamayos, we wouldn't have Kevin Kiambaus if we don't have yung FSA sa seniors level. And I think if it happens sa juniors, then it will really raise yung level of competition. I think Colin Okowe is a very good starting point, similar to probably Sam Ekwe in Philippine college basketball. But
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna be a trend kasi it looks like all of the UAP teams are starting to prioritize yung juniors division. I think it speaks for itself when the coaches of the seniors level are watching the juniors game. When your team owner, school owner, Montinola is watching the game. Coach Jeff Napa was in the game a while ago. I think that speaks volume. I think yung juniors division will be prioritized for years to come. I think it's also a byproduct of Ateneo developing a lot of players from their juniors division and building a dynasty from there. I think it's better to get the players earlier than possible. I think yung players are easily able to transition better sa college when they transfer even mid high school. I think si SJ Belangel is an example. But yeah, definitely this should be the new trend in my opinion. Gab.
Just wanted to point out, Maui. Jeff Napa was not in the game. He was coaching the team. Even though he wasn't
just watching
coach.
the game. He was coaching the players.
He was the one calling every play. So for assistant coach.
Tapos nagagalit din siya. Siya yung nagagalit. Chill lang si Coach De Castro ba yun or something?
Yeah, si Kevin De Castro. But yeah, to answer your question, yes, I do think this that already for juniors basketball. I think there was news. UST has also recruited their own. I'm sure other schools have done this as well. And tama si Mawad, it will only just raise the level of competition for the juniors division. And for basketball programs in general, yung for the UAAP, it will help them develop FSAs that are not just raw agad in the seniors level, diba? In the past, it's always been you recruit an FSA seniors level, then you teach him basket, or if they don't know how to play basketball, you teach him the basics sa college level na. So, diba, you get guys, yes, there are some outliers like si Ange Kwame, si Solomon Chabio are exceptions na sa seniors pa lang kinuha as an FSA and we're good right away. But most FSAs, as evidenced by this past season, aren't really that good. Diba? Bufati is a prime example of that. He was recruited in college, rode the Team B for how many years, and was still pretty bad. So,
did not pan out.
Yep. Did not pan out. So I think this will be helpful for basketball programs in the collegiate level to develop these FSAs early on, teach them the basics, diba? And you get to play against the competition that's on your level already in the juniors division and get into that culture yung for the school. So yeah, I'm all for it. It makes for a very good watch also, diba? Games are more competitive, a lot more organized. May factor na may FSA versus another FSA. So this will only help the popularity of the juniors division. And we're starting it. We're talking about it. No, not many people talk about the juniors division. I know it's a pretty hard sell to a lot of basketball fans. Kasi yung these are kids. It's yung quality of play in the past has not been that high. It's usually a higher fast-paced game in the juniors division. But now, a lot more organization in the juniors division. May FSA na rin to up the quality of the competition. So tama si Maui, I hope they never allow us. I hope they continue this because this will only be positive for the quality of basketball. Sami.
Yeah, just to add lang dun sa point ni Gab, I think it's gonna be beneficial yung if it happens, yung parity ng FSA sa seniors level will definitely lessen yung gap between the best and the worst one, di ba? Kasi if you have teams training them and preparing them for the seniors level, then maybe they're more ready and developed than some of the other FSAs that we've had in the seniors level. I think also yung growing popularity ng juniors will be something to watch out for. A lot of the schools are starting to make it co-education also. I think that will definitely bolster yung popularity ng juniors basketball when a lot more people are involved, diba? I think that's one of the reasons why seniors basketball or seniors athletics are more popular because both sexes are involved. If these schools also move into that direction, then maybe yung juniors basketball in the future will also be as crazy as yung seniors basketball. I know that it was as crazy as seniors basketball probably nung time ng mga airpads natin before. It held a lot of weight. But that's something I'm looking forward to. Yung juniors title, especially basketball, would have more weight also in terms of people, in terms of the alumni. Sam?
Okay, great point, guys. I agree with the FSAs. I support having more FSAs in the senior high school or the juniors division. And maybe something that hindi siya maganda yung point ni Gab, diba? Like training them because sometimes you get them because they're big, they're athletic, they're strong, pero medyo raw pa sila. So you get more time to train them so that they'll be more ready in the seniors division. But you also have to look at yung outside basketball. FSAs are not based in the Philippines, di ba? Foreigners sila. So, sometimes we forget about yung adjustment period ng mga foreigners living suddenly in the Philippines.
Sam.
And that's something and that's something that I realized like when we had Mason Amos as one of our guests also. He said like he wasn't able to quickly adjust nung high school siya, di ba? Na homesick siya. So, I think having like FSAs earlier also helps them adjust better to let's say the schooling, the studies, yung pace ng basketball, pace ng studies nila so that they'll be more prepared when they join the seniors division. So that's another thing that I think would help out then with having FSAs come in earlier. And I really love yung point nyo na having FSAs in the juniors division really just elevates the game. And we talked about it, siguro if there's one key takeaway that our listeners or subscribers should take from this podcast, and let's end it with this, is juniors basketball is something that you should watch out for because the level of play has been elevated. Very competitive. Pati women's, yes. And we always talk about women's basketball. So juniors, women's, you don't need to just watch the seniors division. You should watch juniors. You should watch the women's division because the level of play has been elevated, more organized, higher quality basketball. And with FSAs joining, it will just be even more exciting. And juniors, women's, seniors, you can all watch that sa Pilipinas Live app. So, download the Pilipinas Live app now. Pilipinas Live! Please, sponsor
Baka
us.
naman!
This is not a sponsored
Baka
ad,
naman.
pero Pilipinas Live, beke naman, pwede nyo kami sponsor. So, we do complain a lot about the coverage of the UAAP, but we do very much appreciate the updated coverage of the UAP, where we can watch and talk about juniors basketball, women's basketball, seniors basketball on the Pilipinas Live app. So that's it for today's episode. Sponsor us, MVP, Pilipinas Live. See you again next time. We'll try to have more guests. Abangan nyo lang yan. We're talking to some people already. So please, abangan nyo yan. Hulaan nyo sino yung possibly next guest natin. Comment down below your thoughts on the UAAP Juniors High School game. Things we talked about today. Please continue to like. It helps us reach more people. It helps the YouTube helps us sa YouTube algorithm. Comment, subscribe, share with your friends. That's it for today. See you. Bye-bye.